I'll hand over to you, Jen.
Thank you, thank you. Well, I'm quite excited to introduce our next speaker because she was one of our audition winners, and I got to play Simon Cowell whilst judging the auditions. And want to say a special thank you to her mentor, Gronya Callan from Greenpeace, who was an IWITOT presenter last year. Jen Ruthe is a copywriter, freelance copywriter with nearly 10 years experience as a fundraiser in health and international development, and she's based in Belgium. If ever you get a chance to go to Belgium after all this, I really recommend the city of Ghent. I'm just going to hand over to Jen right now for her presentation, and I can't wait to hear what she has to say for us.
Hello, IWITOT Virtual. My name is Jen, and I'm beaming to you today from a very locked down Brussels. I'm really sorry not to be able to be there in London, and I do just want to use this time to give a quick shout out to everybody who's doing their bit to fight back against the corona crisis. Now, if I was there on the stage, I'd be asking you whether or not you liked my jumper. The only problem is I don't really think you can see it from there, so you're gonna have to take my word for it. It's fab. And you know the best thing about it? It only cost me £5. I know. So where did I get such a bargain, I hear you ask? From a charity shop. And that is what I'm here to talk to you about today. I mean, what a brilliant idea. You take stuff people don't want, you sell it as stuff people do want, and you use the profits to change the world. Now, fun fact for you. Back in the day when I used to be able to cycle around Brussels, I noticed something. You see, charity shops, they don't really exist here, at least not in the same way we know and love them in the UK. And it was this realization that made me see just how special they are. And I think it's important we take time to celebrate that. So a little bit of history for you. Charity shops, as a kind of thing, they first were around in the 19th century, and we can thank the Salvation Army for that. The idea didn't really take off, though, until the Second World War, and actually just after the Second World War. This was when the Red Cross and Oxfam opened their stores in London. However, you'll be excited to know that now there are 11,200 charity shops across the UK. That means that of the high street retail units we have, 4% are let to charity shops. And I think that's pretty amazing. But why is it I wish I'd thought of this idea particularly? Because charity shops have an amazing social benefit. I mean, they're great for the environment. In a world of fast fashion, disposable clothes, charity shops are literally sucking CO2 out of the atmosphere. They're also a really important community hub. They're a place for people to volunteer, for people to learn new skills. And of course, you can bag a bargain, but that's a fringe benefit because critically, charity shops are providing quality goods for affordable prices. But I appreciate that this is a fundraising conference, so let's get to that bottom line, money. Last year, the UK's charity shops raised a net profit of £295 million. That's up from £270 million in 2015-16. And you know the best thing about this money? It's unrestricted. This is the stuff that's going to pay for your staff, pay for your office overheads, pay for your fundraising campaigns, and show me a charity that doesn't need more of that. Now, I give most of my stuff to the British Heart Foundation. They also happen to be the largest charity retailer in the UK, so a really great case study for this talk. Looking through their annual report and accounts, I can tell you that they have more than 730 charity shops, and that together, these shops processed 74,000 tonnes of donated goods, and that this turned into almost £23 million in profit. Interestingly, £5.5 million of that was through their online retailing, their eBay store. What I really love about the British Heart Foundation, though, is how they've taken the idea of the charity shop and really run with it. They run the Makeover Challenge, which challenges you to do over a room in your house with things you've bought from the furniture and electrical stores. They have the Big Stitch competition, which is an upcycling competition for clothes from their fashion outlets. And they have Pack for Good, a partnership with UK universities, giving students boxes and making donating easy for those of us or those of them that are moving out of their halls of residence or their student houses. So what can we learn from this? The important thing, I think, about charity shops is that it isn't just a traditional ask. Everybody can give. It makes giving really accessible, or, to coin a new phrase, it democratizes giving. We can't all of us afford to be a regular donor, but most of us do have things we don't use, clothes we don't wear, stuff to donate to a charity shop. They also encourage people to give time. My dad actually has been giving his time to an Oxfam bookshop for like 8 years or something crazy. And that's a really great way for people to give differently. And of course, as we've seen with the British Heart Foundation, they're a great way of reaching out to people that might not be your traditional Dorothy or Dave donor. And that's really important to raise brand profile and get your message out there. However, I appreciate that you have to spend money to make money. And I'm not suggesting that you all go out and set up a charity store as soon as the lockdown is over. Far from it. But that doesn't mean there isn't a key takeaway here. And for me, that is that fundraising is about more than just asking for money. As we've seen, with charity shops, you can donate goods, you can donate time, and you can donate transactions. I've never given the British Heart Foundation a single penny of my own money, but thanks to the brilliant person that got me to sign up for Gift Aid with them, I get emails that tell me how much my stuff is raised. So I know that I've given them a good few £100s in donated items. And that's what it's all about. Because each of these three things, they all equal more money in the end. And not just more money, but more unrestricted money. And that's what matters. So next time you're out and about when the lockdown is over, walk past a charity shop and remember just how much good they do. And do you know what? Treat yourself. Why not go in and bag a bargain? That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jen. Woo, that was fantastic. I think hopefully we should be getting Jen to join us as well for a quick Q&A.
Yeah.
And it is. Hello, Jen.
Oh, that's exciting. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good, yes. Yeah, really good. It's funny watching yourself live.
I'll bet. And how's the lockdown going in Belgium?
It's really dull. We don't have a garden. It's really sunny. But we're allowed to the supermarket, so that's very exciting. And to bread as well. So.
That's good. That's good. And were you based in Brussels or?
Yeah, I'm in Brussels. I'm like 10 minutes from the European Commission, which is nice. Used to love cycling past it, but those feel like days, ages ago now. But yeah. So
I have just a quick question from based on current circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the charity shops around where I live, and there are quite a lot, are of course all closed. So have you seen that charities are moving more towards trying to do online versions of a charity shop, or is even that not possible? And what do you think the impact will be?
Well, I think it is possible to go online. I think if the last couple of months have sort of shown us anything, it's that anything is possible online if you've got the right technology. And I think actually with the British Heart Foundation, I mentioned briefly in one of the slides that like actually £5 million of their charity shop income was from their eBay charity shop. So
yes, exactly.
I think there's huge scope for that. And it's a really nice way of kind of reducing the overheads. I think whether or not charities are doing that now at the moment, I think people are maybe still in a bit kind of panic mode. I mean, obviously there's a lot going on, a lot changed. But I would hope kind of as things start to kind of calm down and normalize, that people will sort of think about the concept of the charity shop and if they can do that online. But I would like to see the world kind of going out and supporting charity shops as doors start to open again. I mean, they're so important. And I think when we're going to potentially be facing an economic recession and people are going to have less money if they've been furloughed, actually what charity shops are offering is, you know, good quality products at a low price. And I think that's important for people on a day-to-day basis. So I'm hoping that, you know, with that and all the kind of buzz about the environment and, you know, fast fashion, that charity shops could survive this and actually maybe even come back a little bit bigger and a little bit better and stronger, as long as they don't have their doors closed for too long. Every day counts, as I think the Twitter hashtag is, isn't it?
Yes. And actually, the question sort of following on from that, from Jack. Thank you, Jack. How do you see the future of charity shops as more of the high street moves online? We hear a lot in the news about the decline of the high street. And do you think that with everything being done online now, almost as an aspect of necessity, how will it help? How will the communities be able to keep charities afloat, charity shops afloat? Will it be down to the community spirit?
That's a really interesting question. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but I would hope that charity shops are something that can kind of work on both levels, because I think with the high streets, they get a lot of criticism. Like, there's a lot of bad press about charity shops kind of contributing to the death of the high street almost. And there's a really interesting report, Shopping for Good, that actually kind of proves the opposite. And actually charity shops can be a really nice way of regenerating those high streets. So I think actually we might start to see more of them kind of popping up. And I think we've seen a lot of kind of communities coming together with the COVID-19 crisis. And if that sticks, and I really hope it does stick, because it's beautiful to see that sort of growth, then I think charity shops do have a role to play, because they're that hub for people to kind of contribute in other ways that aren't money, for people to get back into work if they're unemployed, to kind of keep in touch with the sector. But I think in parallel to that, you've got to have that online growth as well. And I would like to see the two. I'd hate for online to take away from the physical charity shop, because I mean, when me and my friends go shopping, we don't go to the high street stores, we do charity shop strolls. Like West Bridgeford in Nottingham is really good. Like, it's just a street of charity shops, and it's really good fun, like finding the bargains, bagging the bargains. And you know, my dad volunteers at a charity shop. He's done it for like 8 years, and I think it would be a real shame to lose that. So I hope, and part of what I wanted to do today as well was to kind of raise a bit of awareness about how special they are. You don't really have them in Brussels, and I think we should recognise them as something special and put a bit of effort into keeping them alive, I think.
Well, actually, that leads me on to a question from Alex. Thanks, Alex. Why do you think other countries don't have charity shops, and what on earth do they do with their old stuff?
I don't know. And actually, I'm hoping, I mean, I was working on the assumption from what I've seen in Belgium, they don't have charity shops, and my husband is German and they don't have charity shops there either. So at least there's 2 countries. I mean, here, there's still a lot of secondhand shops. So vintage clothes shops still exist. So people do give their stuff to vintage clothes shops. And there's a kind of social enterprise chain, like one that you do see. But other than that, like, it must just be secondhand stores or in the bin. Like, it's just not sort of there. Or, you know, maybe they pass them on to their younger brothers and sisters. That's where I used to get my clothes from as a child.
My little brother as well.
Yeah, but as to why, I mean, I know in Germany, like charitable giving, it's not like the individual giving side of things. It's quite different. Like, because I know peer sponsorship and things, they just don't buy into it in the same way. And it's just not such a part of the culture. I think British kind of giving charity culture is something that's quite unique in a way. And certainly, I saw a post actually on Facebook, you know, not the most reputable of sources perhaps, but it said, you know, Germany, like when it comes to health, they don't have charities because the government pays for it. I mean, depends on your opinion as to how that falls, but it's just not such a part of their culture. I'm hoping that when I move there in a few years, I'm going to start it off.
Yeah, oh, wow, that's a great ambition.
Start charity shops, yeah.
And I think we've just got time for another question from Isla. Thank you, Isla. How much do you think Marie Kondo has driven the recent success of charity shops? And I'll admit here, I don't know who she is.
I think, is she the person that does the makeover of stores? I live in a cave.
Yeah, but Camille, do you know?
Yeah,
Can you help?
Marie Kondo, she was all about kind of so she had that series on Netflix about kind of cleaning your home to bring you joy. So getting rid of the things that don't bring you joy anymore. And it was a big kind of phenomenon people were following and kind of, pushing people to start cleaning out their lives, basically.
Okay, so I confess to not really knowing who she is, but that sounds like a brilliant idea. Because your stuff should give you joy, and you should give it to a charity shop if you can. You know, if it's still working, don't give them stuff that's broken, and they're not a place to discard your trash. But also, and you bring stuff in that gives you joy. And I love buying clothes and things or items in my house that's from a charity shop, and then someone goes, "Oh, that's nice," and you're like, "Yeah, cheers." So it works both ways, but it sounds like she's doing a really good thing to kind of promote it, and I'll do a bit of hunting. I confess I'm not a very cool kiddie, so and also I have Netflix here, not TV, so I'm a little bit isolated.
Well, thank you so much, Jen. Thank you very, very much. Big round of applause. And
thank you. I can breathe a big sigh of relief now. Recorded. I'm still nervous.
And over to you, Camille, to introduce our next speaker.
Okay,